Hi everyone, it's Peyton Hatch again. Today I'm going to show you how to import a code list into Leica Infinity via a CSV file. It's something I've been asked a lot how to do. In the past I just built it for customers, and I think it's about time I built a video to show people how to import these code lists. We had a lot of folks who can export code lists from other pieces of gear or just older code lists, and they want to then bring them into Infinity. So we will get more or less a CSV file with the code description, group, all this information. I'll cover that in just a second, because there is this particular format this equipment the file has to go in. Now, go through a few things here on the code table. So if you go into Infinity and you go to Tools, Code Tables, there is an import option right here. This is not where you're going to go. If you go to this import, the only option you have is the .lict, the Leica Infinity code table. That is essentially what these are. These are existing code tables that have already been built. And let's say I wanted to take one of these code tables to another computer, another Infinity file. I could grab any one of them, and I could export this, or I could import a new one and bring it in. If I wanted to export this file out, you need to go into it. So if I can't import an LICT, what if I create a code table and then try to import from there? So I've had a few folks say, hey, let's create new. Let's call this test 1 for the code list. And you go into it from here, and I hit import. Well, you have a few other options. So you can import from other files now. Unfortunately, a CSV is not one of them. So this is not where you import a CSV file into a code list. So we'll just cancel out. Close out from here, and I will go ahead and just delete this code list. And now we'll show you how to do this. So let's bring up the code table first. So whether you built this from scratch or you've actually exported it out from another program, whatever, you have the code on the left, then you have the code description. I have a lot of folks that will do one particular group. So they'll do everything in, say, a default group, or you might have multiple groups. I have some DOTs that will have a different group for everything, stakeout, topo, line work groups. More or less, the sky's the limit. However you as a company decide you want to organize your groups, go ahead and do so. And some of these codes will even do attributes. And so I have an attribute that I want to be for type, and I want to have an attribute for invert for my manhole. A lot of the times for type, I'll do a choice list. I've had difficulty creating that from the CSV file, so I'll just create the attribute, and then I will do the choice list in Infinity. I'll do that after the fact. So I'm going to create a couple new codes real quick. So for instance, CL will be center line, and that will also go in the topo group. I'll do another one, TBC. Top back curve. I'm in America, so curve is with a C, not a K, not K-E-R-V. It's also in the topo. Another group I'll do, let's say I want to do a control group. So I will build a control group here, and I'll just do one to make it easy. I'll go IN for iron nail. Okay, looking for an iron nail. Now this is just some suggestions. If you'll notice here, this particular code list, I've got lowercase letters and I've got uppercase letters. I would not do that. Keep everything uppercase or keep everything lowercase, at least in the code. So when you're out there typing on your CS20, you can either caps lock on or your caps lock off. You don't have to remember, oh, is this code in caps lock? The Leica Captivate does recognize caps. Your AutoCAD may not, but your Leica Captivate does, your Leica system does. So try to keep them all uppercase or all lowercase. Don't mix and match it like I've done here on this file. It's honestly bad practice. The description is a different story. I don't care what you do with the description. They can be uppercase, lowercase, whatever. You can mix and match them. You don't search in the data collector for a code description. You're only searching for codes. So keep those uniform. Now, what we have to do for this file is you have to import this as if they are points. And what it will do is it will create these points with filled codes. field codes can be converted into a code list. Now, in order to import these as points, well, you have to have some values or coordinate values. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a couple of these. Just make my life easy. Insert. There we go. So we'd have point ID. You do not have to do these headers, northing, so I'm just going to make it easy. Elevation, height, because I'm going to end up deleting the header anyways. Just want you to see what you have. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to type all those out. I'll just drag it down. And then we would do 5,000, 10,000, 100. Doesn't matter if they're different coordinates. They can all stack on top of each other, but they have to be brought in as points. That's just kind of the nuance. That's kind of the, just trying to, it's kind of the Easter egg that you have to just know about. There we go. So I have essentially created a code table that can be imported into Infinity. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to kick out this header because I don't need it. You can bring that in. It doesn't matter. I'm for ease of use. I'm killing the header and save. Now that that's saved, I'm going to go ahead and just close out of the file. Time to import this file. So we go to our project manager and we'll create a new project, and we will create a new project. If you are trying to name your code list, say it's for my company, G4GR, I would need it to be G4GR code list. You need to name the project, what you want your code list to be named. So G4GR codes. I think I already have one, so I'm going to call it codes 2. I already have a code table, G4 Geomatics. Now, if I wanted to add these points to an existing code list to start building onto it, make sure that code table is selected. Now, if you're going from scratch or you want to build a new one from scratch, make sure you've set your code table to none. That is critical. The rest of this information, I don't care about. I don't care about units. I just care about the name of the code list and if you're going to be adding to or creating from scratch a new code list. So create. Now we can import from the desktop. Oh, I didn't put it on the desktop. I put it over here. Code lists. That one right there. And I'm going to create a new code table real quick. Let me just delete these out. Start from scratch. So we'll go from new. Now we're going to say it is a comma delimited file. Now press our columns. I would call this code list. And I will try to use this template moving forward. And it is a point ID, northing, easting, ortho height, code. For standard imports, this is what you do. That's it. You just do code. Now, of course, we're doing a few extra things. So this is the code description. This is the code group. You see I got topo all the way down here to control. Then I have my 2 attributes. So attribute name. And then I've also got attribute name. Then you see we have a few other options you can import. Say this one I've had troubles with. So I will just do the attribute name and I'll build the other values later. So I have built a template to import this data. Okay. And I'll go ahead and import it. All my points stack on top of itself. So, yep, that's perfect. That's what I wanted. I'm going to turn off my webcam now, just because I need my full screen. You got to see all my tools, so I'll turn off the webcam. There we go. Now, if you go to Features, go to your Code Manager, what has happened is G4GR codes 2, because this is the name. There are no codes here because they are all filled codes. We just imported these. It's as if we typed them out in the field. So these are filled codes. And you can see I have all my different groups. So there is my, inside of my control group, I've got the one code, iron nail. So there it is, iron nail, no line work. If I go to my topo group, there's all the rest of them. And I say, here's my CL. You can arrange these by alphabetical or however you want to do it. So if I go down to the manhole one right here, let's open it up. I go down here to manhole. Where is it? Dude, right there, manhole. You notice the attributes are here. They don't have any choice lists. You know, these are things that I would need to edit later, but at least they're here, imported, ready to go, making your life a lot easier to fix them later. All right, so how do we put these into this GR code list? Now you see I've got different groups. The one thing it can't do is you can't have it pre-generate the groups in the actual code list. So I do need to click up here and I tell it to create a new group, and I will create a control group. There, control. Now I have control. No codes in it yet. I'll do the same thing real quick for topo. There we go. So now, if I want to bring these codes from control into this control, into the actual table, I grab it, I just hit Control C. You can't right click copy. You actually need to hold down Control and press C for copy and paste it right there. There it is. And now we'll do the same thing for the topo. Now there's a little trick. Click on the top one, hold down Control, press A. They all grab. Hold down Control C, copy, topo, Control V. Now they're all in there. They're in both. But if I press OK, and now I go back into it, because these codes are now in the code list, they're no longer field codes. You've copied them into the code table. Now that they're in this code table, now technically these are not. These are just in this job. So I can hit copy to global. You can click on the code table and hit copy to global. And that just sent this code list out. Oh, dang it, hit the wrong button. Let's bring my Infinity back up. And now if you go to your tools, code tables, you'll see that code list is now here in the global database. This can be sent out to a controller. You can edit it, and everything is here. There's my different groups. So right here in topo, I can go back down here to manhole because that was the one that had attributes. And I can now start editing these attributes. So, yeah, choice list. I can say, hey, I want to make this a choice list. I can add it, and I can go sewer. Oh, I could spell. Post another one, sanitary. So on and so forth. You can build as many as you want. And this code list is, it's now fully functioning. It's ready to go. You might need to make a few edits. If you're doing line work on any of these points, for instance, edge of concrete, I feel these should automatically generate line work. If your CAD is set up for it, you want to do that. You can say, hey, that one I want to start a line with. Edge of gravel would be the same way. Now utilizing the Captivate line work, it'll connect the dots as you go. Not required. Unfortunately, there's not really a way inside of that CSV file to automatically create that, at least not a way I've found. But it's pretty easy to do this. You're not having to type everything anymore in the code table. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Oh, last thing. Make sure you press OK. Any edits you make, press OK. I wish this would bold out big and fat saying you've made a change. If you want this change to happen, press OK. Yeah, you just have to remember OK, and you're done. So thank you.